The first sound I noticed wasn't the alarm clock, but a steady tapping. Toke, 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 like someone drumming their nails against the glass. I opened my eyes. The room was bathed in the dim gray of dawn. The sound came from the window. My heart skipped a beat. I froze, holding my breath, listening. Tok, 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 tok. It was like some kind of eerie invitation. I slid out of bed, my bare feet landing on the cold wooden floor. Each step I took creaked softly. I crept towards the window and pulled the curtain aside. The fogged glass reflected nothing, no branches, no silhouette. Just an empty pane. But the tapping continued. Faster, now, more insistent. As if an invisible thing was demanding to be let in. Primera ba, sked, away, taking a deep breath. It was just an illusion. It was always an illusion. Ever since I moved into this old house after my grandmother's death, strange things had been happening. The doctor said grief and loneliness were playing tricks on me. Maybe he was right. I went downstairs. The wooden steps groaned beneath my weight. The kitchen felt vast and cold. Water dripped from the faucet plips hissing through the silence. I decided to make a cup of coffee. The grinder's high-pitched whine filled the air, thankfully drowning out the strange noises from upstairs. When I turned toward the living room, my eyes landed on the old wooden cabinet, the only thing my grandmother left me, and the only thing I never dared to touch. Its door was slightly ajar. Strange. I was sure I'd locked it. A faint scent drifted out, lavender mixed with dust and thyme. Her scent. My heart pounded. I stepped closer and pulled the door open. Inside, among stacks of old books, was a pale blue wooden box, carefully locked. I had never seen it before. Primera liftez italiano. It was surprisingly light. With a bit of fumbling, the lock clicked open with a soft snap. Inside, there were no jewels, no will, only letters, dozens of handwritten letters. Their paper yellowed with age, and a black and white photograph. It showed my grandmother as a young woman, smiling, holding a child. But it wasn't my mother. The boy in her arms had eyes eerily similar to mine. On the back, scrawled in fading ink, were the words, Grandma and Min, March 1975. Min. There was no Min in our family. A chill crawled down my spine. I started rummaging through the letters. They were all from a man full of longing, regret, and talk of a child. One line leaped out at me. Our son, Min will, he never know the truth. Can you forgive me? The truth? What truth? My head spun. Fragments of memory started to surface. The faceless grandfather I never met. The tense silence that always fell between Grandma and my mother. The way any questions about our past were always forbidden. Then the tapping came again. This time, it wasn't gentle. It was furious, a storm of pounding against the glass. I covered my ears and screamed, "Stop!" But it didn't. It felt like the sound was coming from inside my own skull. I bolted upstairs, running blindly into Grandma's old bedroom, the one that always carried such a sorrowful air. The sound seemed to echo from beneath the bed. There was a wooden chest there. With trembling hands, I opened it. Beneath layers of old blankets, I found a diary. The handwriting was shaky, the ink blurred by tears. It told of a forbidden love of an illegitimate son, named Min, of a family that forced her to give the child away to protect their name, and of the guilt that haunted her for the rest of her life. And then, on the final page, dated the day she died, was the entry that shattered my world. My dear granddaughter, did you know? Your mother found Min, your half-brother, years ago. They loved each other, unaware of the truth. The car crash that killed them was no accident. When she discovered who he was, your mother drove off the cliff herself. I hid everything to protect her name and to spare you this unbearable truth. Please, forgive me. The diary slipped from my hands with a dull thud. The air thickened. The tapping stopped, but the silence that followed was worse, heavier, suffocating. Through the misted window, I saw the faint outline of a man's eyes, identical to mine, filled with sorrow. Min, the brother I never knew, the one who died beside my mother, in a tragedy born from a forbidden love. The horror wasn't the ghost outside. It was the truth, the cruel, twisted legacy, buried within my own bloodline. I had wanted to uncover the past. Now, it had consumed me. I collapsed to the floor, sobbing. The empty house echoed my cries. I was the last of a family built on lies and despair, and the forgotten memories had finally become my prison.